tedious means justice?
Slow and boring.
Good. Now, can manual testing be override by automation testing?
No.
Reason? That's probably you're right track, but you need to give a little more details about it. First thing is, by the way, the recording, I mean, yesterday I did the recording. I forgot to pause it and finish it again. So it recorded for 14 hours. Oh.
Wow.
That's a big one.
We need editing.
I was like, I went through and I was like, why is this file so big? So in the game, I don't have the full version. I have to buy it to edit it. But good thing is, tomorrow I will get off money. Most of the stuff that you say is not in there. It didn't cover it. So as soon as I paused it in here, I closed it. I went home. The whole time it recorded it, nothing recorded, just one script. There's no sound after. So first 2 hours, 40 minutes, you can actually see. That's what you need a flash drive, everybody, so I can just give it to you so you can see it in your, when you go in your house. And then you have to repeat the class. Going back in there before that, let me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. How many phases there in STLC?
How many phases? There is no certain, I guess, it's not that somebody can say,
Let me rephrase my question. What was your involvement in STLC?
what is my involvement? I actually did, I did not from the requirements section where the business analysts gathered that. I wasn't involved in that. I was involved in design. The system architect who did it, he was actually in Texas. So we had to call over the phone. And beforehand, what he did, he sent us the design copy. So we had to download it from there. What my boss did is actually he got the mail and he sent us the mail. So our QA manager says that print it and you tell me your feedbacks. So when we printed it, the things that from a user point of view, I said I didn't like that part. I think this is wrong. It's very tedious, and then also I also said that this is the part where I don't understand what they're trying to say because it's going to be confusing for the users. So all these feedbacks I gave. So we had a conference phone call. My boss, my QA manager's office, me, system architect, as well as our business analyst. So three-way line, we had three of us, like we were in a room of 5 of us, we talked, and we gave our feedback to him. It was like, listen, he was explaining it, and we said, this is what we do not understand from a user's point of view, what are you trying to do in here? So that was one involvement. My developers were right next to me the whole time. There were like 8 of us. So the developers, when they were developing it, they were not telling us, oh, I'm developing this, you want to see the code. No, they were doing it, but we go there periodically, hey, what are you doing? Oh, okay, what code are you writing? Like that, but I had no idea what they were writing. But that was like the involvement because, I love to talk to people, so all the developers love me. So I was there, I was going there and talking to them, like, what are you doing and things like that. Other than that, whenever they're doing something, I was testing it. Instead of me sending it through the fog box or the bug tracking tools, what I did, I usually send it and then I go personal to the developer. I know who's assigned for which portion of the application because I know that. So what happened, I went to the developers and I was telling them, hey, did you see that? And he said, oh, well, let me check it in my environment. So developers has his own environment, which is called
Dev environment.
Dev environment. When I was working in my Q environment, what is that called? Q environment. When we go to the production, what is that called? Production environment. Right. So dev environment, he was like, mine works fine. I was like, really? Why don't you come to my side? So we go to the test bed. What is a test bed? Test bed is the definition of Willis. Test bed is
where the end user actually make the real environment.
Real environment. When you make individual environment for each, testing. Okay. Who does that during the test strategy? Test planning. You do. What is the test planning?
Test planning is basically who is going
Scope,
to do what.
Approach, role and responsibility. Right.
What to test, what not to test.
So that's you. What you do is like as a tester, senior tester, you plan who's gonna do which testing, when we're gonna do it, which test bed we're gonna use like that. Follow me? Who's not following me? Make sense?
Very much.
Okay. And what is the main purpose for that? Because so that you have a strategy time period, right? So you know when to exit, when to enter. Enter criteria, exit criteria. Remember the word, keyword. Enter criteria, exit criteria. So when you're gonna choose the exit criteria, how are you gonna know the enter criteria? Because when your test bed is ready, your test plans are ready, your test cases are ready, your application is ready, that's when you start your testing. When you exit it, when there is no bug. But there is no application, there is no bug, you're always gonna find a bug in there. Okay? Even your iOS device has bug every time. The new 9, then they put 9.01, the new one is 9.02, isn't it? The new version. So they'll keep doing it because they have new fine. These are all patches. What is that thing called? Patch. So remember that one patch also. Now, what happens right after you start testing, when you test, how you exit it? Because in the test plan section, you're gonna say exit criteria. You're gonna write down when the critical bugs. Which are the critical bugs? Showstoppers.
Showstoppers.
Right? Showstoppers means what? There is no.
You cannot go
Work around.
Alright.
Alright, let me actually start recording it. I'm so sorry. I should have done that. I was thinking about putting a webcam in there.
You can do that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
ভাইরে রাকি পেরে রেখে নিয়ে আসতে হবে এভরিথিং কি বলেন ভাবি
Looking great.
thinking about this so that I don't know how that's gonna work because if I minimize this, okay, let's say I minimize this.
Is it, there's a light on the cam?
Okay. What is this called?
Document map.
Document map.
And this
That's
link
methodology.
is called hyperlink. Or
হ্যাঁ কি
Hyperlink.
Hyperlink.
alright, so what were we? So okay, exit criteria. What do you mean by exit criteria? Exit criteria, you're gonna do it in the test plan section. You're gonna say all the critical bugs fall to 0. There is probably 1 or 2 low-level bugs. So low-level bugs are which one? Like for example, let's say cosmetic bugs. You know, let's say the logo, is a little, one of them, like, real logo, probably the color is different, maybe the size is different, whatever the requirements are saying, it's a little different. But it doesn't have that of an impact on the application. You can work with it, but it can be maybe addressed to the next release. Okay, so then they're gonna have it next release. So what is a showstopper?
Something that stops you
User
from
ID.
going
User ID and password.
That's an example. What is a showstopper?
something that stops
This is
you
the
can
bug
go
which stop the
forward.
Right.
Yeah, there is no way around.
There's no way around. Exactly. There's no way around. That means you have to fix that to go forward to the next one. That's what your showstopper is. Now, when you log a bug, there should be a priority or a severity. There's 2 things, very important. They will ask you a question in the interview, I guarantee you that. Out of 10, you're gonna get that question probably 6 times. Do you know anything about, so what is the severity, what is the priority?
Severity is like whatever we can do later. Like that's not priority. Like the priority thing we have to do first.
No, severity I think is the like a more important.
More important?
I believe severity.
Severity should be now.
Okay, one has to do with when you're gonna do it, one is how that is impacting on the application. Severity is how is that impacting the application. How severe that is for the application. Priority is time-wise when we're gonna do it. Is he gonna do it right now or we can do it later?
Alright.
Do you understand that? So the priority is I'm gonna give this one priority, highest priority. Okay, I'm gonna fix this right now. Really, right? And the severity is how is that impacting the application. So for example, if there is a showstopper, it has a high severity, high priority.
So another way to say the severity will decide the level of priority.
True. However, sometimes one of the priorities can be, so for example, let's say okay, so let's give some example. And then we can see which one can come first. So for example, I can log in. I cannot log in. I'm trying to log into Facebook, but forget about going and see who put any notification, any status, I can put any upload, pictures or anything. I can even log in there. What is that?
High priority.
High priority, high
severity.
severity.
High priority, high severity, because that's a,
Must.
that's a,
Showstopper.
that's a showstopper.
Next Monday.
So therefore, you must fix that first to go forward. There is no workaround. Now,
I don't follow
let's say
holiday.
you close the button. How do you close an application?
Just close, simple
Just
close.
X button.
Close. I can go file here and I can say close. How else I can close it?
I just go to X.
Alt F4.
Alt F4. Good. So Alt
F4.
F4. If I press that, that's gonna close it. In requirements, most of the times you're not gonna see it. You know that shortcut.
Yeah.
So as a tester, Gorilla, you're gonna do this one. You're gonna close this. You're gonna say, how do you close? You're gonna write a test case about closing an application. By the way, you're gonna say, user should use the X on the right top corner to close the application. Or second one, you're
Go
gonna
to
say,
file.
or you can click on file and drop down. What is the expected result?
To
A drop down menu
close.
opens. Go to the close button, click the close button. What is the expected result?
Application close.
Seriously, we have to do
We have to
this
write
all
down
day.
step by step, like this, like right hand corner.
That's your test case.
Very detailed. जो
It's
मेरा
how you're
मेरा
gonna look
मेरे लिए
the
बेसिक
shoes.
तो जो बेसिक create a higher of मेरे बेसिक
Oh my god, I'm gonna be the man.
मेरा भूल होते पड़ा बेटा.
Women get this job more because
Yeah.
they're retail oriented.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys are usually
Yeah,
like, hey, you wanna go party? And they're like doing these things.
और भी लोग देव चुप कर रहा है ना कोनो
That's a game.
Okay.
Okay, Babu bhai, আমি আরেকটু like আমি এগুলো জানতে চাচ্ছি, so you know it's more.
So we're gonna go through that, but let's go over some things that we didn't do we did yesterday. We're gonna revise it. So the good thing is, if we do that, Fatima will get a little idea about what we did.
Make sure you show.
Okay. Now, Fatima, did you remember the last class? What you did?
Yeah,
Which one? What was the last thing that we did?
about the STLC.
STLC, right? Which part we did? I believe we did on use case and test case, probably, right? Use case and test case. So what is the difference between the use case and test case? No cheating.
For use case is like
What is the use case?
use case is like it's not like this is test case is like more detailed.
Alright, give me a definition of a use case.
User action
Who says that? And cheating. Okay. Alright, good. If you remember that. Alright, Festus, tell me.
use case is like a user action and the system responds to the action. To the action.
Use case. So this is how you're gonna write it when you do it in your home. I mean, when you do the homework. Write down in one color, and here indent it. What is that called? Indent. How do you do this? Use the tab button. Now, which is users action and system response. So in other words, I'm going to do something, whatever the response is going to be. What does use case have
Actors. Actors was it?
it has a
Stories.
summary, a revision, flow, regular flow,
Basic-
alternative flow,
Basic flow, alternative flow.
right? Alternative flow, basic flow, regular flow, or
Right.
basic flow, alternative flow. What else?
Precondition, postcondition.
Precondition, post conditions. So these have use case have. And who does that?
BA.
Business
Business
analysis.
analyst does it. So BA, business analyst writes use cases. And that is done in the beginning of the SDLC phase, when during the initiations
Okay.
or requirements gathering,
Okay.
right? Now, based on this, what do you write?
Test case.
Test
Test
case.
case.
You write test cases based on your
Use
Use
case.
case.
use case. Now, so what is a test case?
So step by step.
Step-by-step details.
Test
Step-by-step
Pro-
details of what?
How to test a case.
How to test the functionality of the application as per the requirements. What does that mean, as per the requirements? What does that mean?
As per requirement, what customer
What
want?
customer wants?
As per requirements means like,
As per-
however it is written in the requirements.
Right.
And that came in from who? That came in from the
No, analyze.
Business
business
analyst.
analyst. And how business analysts gather that information from who?
From customer.
From customers and users.
Customers,
Client.
clients, from their managers, end users. So you, instead of saying customers, you're gonna say end users. So a step-by-step procedure to test an application of the functionality of the application as per the requirements. What is the difference between use case and test case? Use case, story based, this is step-by-step. This one does not have, you cannot, huh?
Test case ke document.
You cannot write test cases, I mean, you cannot write use cases based on test cases, but you can write test cases based on use cases.
Actually, use case means the requirements, right?
Huh?
Use case is the requirement.
Use case is actually basically the overall requirements. And out of the requirements, you write your test cases. Out of one use case, you probably can write multiple test cases. Okay. What are the other things? What are the difference between use case and test cases? We talked about it. You said something too.
Okay.
Test.
The use case is actually the requirement which is given by the business analyst from the owner.
No, you said something else. Last class.
We write the test cases
Based on
depending on the use cases.
Okay.
It's not vice versa.
It's not the vice versa. Okay. So.
Baba, we ready for market meeting?
Yeah. You are. You are always ready.
আমি মাত্র দেখলাম $11 an hour.
The hiring.
Actually, you know, there is somebody just told me $80 an hour in.
Wow, that's disrespect.
না এই
You hear this? I had a phone call from this Chinese woman, and she goes, "Hi," and she had a habit of keep saying actually. So she goes, "Actually, are you looking for a job?" I was like, I was like, "Sure." She goes, "Actually, we have a job," and so. And she keeps saying that. It's kind of irritated me, and I was like, "Why does she keep saying that?" So we had a conversation. Where is the job located? Job located in New York, somewhere. Or like she's calling for somewhere else. Sounds like fantastic. Everything worked for her. So how much you paying? She was 60. So I was like, "Oh, that's 60. That's like a lot of money." I was like, "Wow, so that's good. Okay, so is that automation manual?" It's both. So I was like, "Okay." So so you can send me a confirmation so I can send an email. And it's $60. No, I mean 16. 16.
Oh.
Oh my
What?
God.
Are you kidding me? I was the last 5 minutes with you.
Oh my God, you know
Sure it's not from a Chinese restaurant?
It's almost McDonald's pay.
I was like 16. Who pays 16? I was like, what are you kidding
We
me?
should have told
Are
you
you kidding me?
it's New York, not China.
Chinese is our cheap.
Jesus.
So that's
My daughter probably gonna charge me more than that if she sits with me.
Option I paid $20 every class to Opshara.
Oh,
Maybe.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh wait, maybe that is the IT sector of Dunkin' Donut to check the
I
price
just
of application.
একবার প্রথম ক্লাস শুরু করছি তারপরে অপশনটাকে নিয়ে বসছি হ্যাঁ তো হচ্ছে তোর হোল উইকে 2-3 ক্লাস
This is the one.
Oh, wow.
Use case cannot be
executed.
executed. Test cases can be. It derives from POI.
Business
Business
requirements,
requirements,
specifications.
Specification. So what that means? It is a requirement. And derived from?
Device from use case.
It is a pictorial representation.
Pictorial. And this is a?
Diagrammatic.
Diagrammatic.
It is a diagram, this is a picture. So it's like, it doesn't write, it doesn't draw a picture, it gives you a picture. And what is the next one? You want to do that, right? Fatima? Because I want you, okay. So test bed. Remember we talked about test bed? Execution environment configuration of testing. So that means how the actual testing gonna be in which environment, and that's what we're gonna test, we're gonna make exactly same environment. That's my test bed. So remember I gave you an example that I went there, I had JCPenney, Rollins, Western Place different. So I come in and put one plug and I configure that in the IP address. But the next one I test, I probably take this one off, put another Ethernet card and Ethernet cable and put in there. And that test bed I use also. So in one test bed I have multiple environments. Okay. So that's what my personal experience was. So manual testing is what? Testing the application manually without the use of automation tools. And automation testing is the same thing.
Through using tools.
You are making that one manual testing, or the test cases you are making them as a
Automatic.
you use automated script and use an automation tool. There are many automation tools. Which one we're going to use? QTP. We're going to use. There are other ones like Selenium. There are some SQL. But they all use their own programming languages. So what does QTP use? Which programming language?
VB,
Java. What does Selenium use? JavaScript. What does SQL use? SQL script. What does Cucumber use?
Python and
Ruby. Okay. So this is good.
Ruby, is Ruby tough?
No.
No, right?
No.
No.
I don't know. He teaches. I mean, Galib teaches. My partner teaches. So difference between manual testing and automation testing, we went through that. Manual testing is human error, more lot of, well, that is one good thing that we didn't mention. In manual testing, you can do some gorillas, right? Because as a human being, you can think outside the box, but the computer, when you do the automation testing, the automation tools is just straightforward. Whatever you tell him to do, he's going to do. He's not going to go outside that. So that is an advantage of manual testing over automation testing. But most of the time, automation testing has more advantages than manual testing. However, manual testing can never be replaced by automation testing because, first of all, manual testing is the beginning process of the testing. You cannot automate a process until the application is totally ready. Does this seem familiar to you, or I have to explain it to you? Okay. So let's say that you have an application. So let's say Facebook, right? Facebook I started. Now if the Facebook I started the login version, hey, you alright? Feeling good? Better?
Continue.
You want to come in and say hello to the class one day?
Sure.
Everybody, let me introduce Mr. Sheikh Rahman Galib. Come over.
Thank you.
And Shuman, how are you?
Hi.
So this is, he's a programmer. He does Ruby, Python programming, and he works for Homeland Security. He used to work for JP Morgan.
I have green card, but
That's what we need.
And also Galib is he teaches Cucumber as well. And Shuman, you guys already know, he's the brain of the organization, and he does automation tools. He teaches Selenium too. So they both teach us the advanced level. After this class, the basic one, we have an advanced, QA testing, and that's where they teach that. Galib is very busy, and
I'm a little sick too, so
yeah.
that's why I'm kind of keeping my phone.
Yeah. So you want to talk for 2 minutes and just introduce yourself? Some of the people don't know you.
Sure, definitely. So basically, I'm serving as a QA manager right now for Department of Homeland Security. I also have a second job, which is for Disney World. If anybody loves to go to Disney, let me know.
Repeat on the net for
I told you. So, so basically, yeah, so Babu Bhai is doing a great job here. I will hold the handle after this batch is finished. And also that I will be recruiting for a company called Capgemini. Like he knows, he's gonna give you all the information. Even I will show you slides and how it works in future.
Let me get mine
So,
first.
basically, so great job. Get it done in 3 months. Hopefully, I'm very confident that everybody in this room will get it done.
Inshallah.
এই যে ভাই আপনার জন্য ইয়ে নিয়ে আসছি না
Sure, I'll take it.
Narik and roll.
আপনি সিক আপনি আগে
Thank you.
problem.
So, anyways, bye continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
See you guys later.
Am I gonna see you
Take care.
Today, yes.
এই
Okay,
ভাই আপনি
alright,
শনি
bye.
রবিবার আসেন এখানে নাকি শুধু
I fly every weekend. So, normally I'm here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yes.
Where's your post? Pennsylvania?
I fly 2 different places. So,
Oh.
DC and Florida.
Oh, okay.
Kind of. But
Also, he has a business in Columbus. I'm sorry, not Columbus. Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
Babu Bhai has so many businesses. I can
I
go
don't.
on and go on and go
My
on.
only business is with my wife. That's it. And today, actually, I told somebody asked me how many students we have. I said, actually, alhamdulillah, we have a pretty good class.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and then he asked me, does your wife pay? I was like, no, I am only
pay
deal
her.
I have with her. She's gonna drive the car. She's not gonna do any fighting with me, and she's gonna cook good. So she goes, fair enough.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we are actually finishing up the SDLC
Perfect.
by next Monday. But next Monday we're thinking of not taking the class because of the.
Which is on 12th.
But it's all depends on the vote. We're gonna vote it at the end of the night, at the end of the day today.
So I'm just gonna write my number and email address. Feel
Yes.
free to call me, text me, email
Sure.
me with any question you have. Anytime.
Yeah, right. But I'm so glad to have Okay, I'm gonna read it.
718.
Yeah, you know what? Galib,
Yes.
do this.
You have a group of email?
Actually, I do, but not, I don't know where it is. So you
We
can
can open
actually
Notepad.
do this.
এখানে মধ্যেই তো আসছে এই যে
Can I?
কালিমের নাম্বার যে
Yeah, Galib's number is there, but I just want to make sure. Here, Galib, do me a favor. Just write down here.
I'm done with that.
Right.
ফার্স্ট ব্যাচ নাও লাইক ক্রিসমাস উইক ফাইনাল যে এতগুলা ভিডিও
Is it better now?
Yes.
পরীক্ষায় দিবেন না 20 টাকা দিয়ে
Technology, my friend.
Hey, you remember Sheridan?
Who?
I don't think he had it.
Who?
Sheridan.
C++ professor ছিল
I don't know if I took the shirt. I didn't take Sheridan, but I think C++ who I took. I forgot who I took. Oh God, I took.
Alright, so I don't want to.
But Sharif was my another program. you
বাই
know.
দ্য ওয়ে
What's that? What is that called?
And your telephone number.
Hey,
Thank you.
what is
Very
this?
quick.
It's a GoPro.
What?
What is
Thank
that?
you. Thanks a
He's,
lot.
he's recording my.
Because I'm gonna listen to everything.
Cool. Good idea. Alright, guys, see you later.
See you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And your telephone number
It
718
doesn't happen.
223
223.
3325.
Shuman, your number. You can write it. Your email address and telephone number so that people actually have it. এটার মধ্যে সুমনের নাম্বার নাই. We're gonna make a new one, better one. Trust me on this one. Monday and Tuesday after class when I go, and then Wednesday, Thursday I become so busy. And Friday, Saturday I work also, and then it's just gotta find a way of doing it. Anyway, so you wrote it. Let me know when you're done.
এটা কি আসছে না ট্রান্সফার করে আসছে
No. take it off?
Yep. Yes.
Shumon. But you wrote S-O-M-1.
Someone.
Someone. This guy is the manager.
See, that normally is the only problem. I'm telling you.
What's that about?
Harukin naam hoja Farooq.
Babu dan Baibba.
No, that's different.
Kapannya dah.
Is that true?
Kalau suster nama lagi nak kunci.
Sure.
So what we gonna say? Piper Mama?
Sanjay.
That's nice. I like it. Hey, call me then tomorrow. First two. I got my brother. It's recording, right? Yeah, it's recording.
Right?
অঞ্জলিদেরও তো ব্লগ
আমার মতো
So next Monday we don't have class?
It depends.
After about.
You wanna come next month?
Well,
I can come.
the thing is, I can come if they really close it, then I'm gonna pick up a shift because there's a shift available in the morning shift. So if I take it, I can study and go back home. Even if I take for study. Oh, by the way, what time
I close tomorrow.
What time you come?
2. You?
9:15. I hope I can make it. I missed my first class today. I work at 9. Class starts at exactly 9.
How that goes?
This is good. This part only you and another part whole.
It is brother over. Just starting. Yeah.
And it's recording.
এটা বলে তো প্রতিদিন তোমার সাজগোজ
You
করে
can't say about what.
Is that a problem? Yeah, I don't understand that. You want me to come like barefoot, like a bare dress? I would buy all those will come in like Superman or something. Jeez, everything is doing is shares a
আল্লাহ
problem.
ভাবে এগুলো তো আমাদের ভাগে ক্লাস থেকে বাইক করে দিবা শুনলে
We need lighting also.
আরো আধা ঘন্টা সময় দিতে হবে না বাবু দেখে দেখি
What is that? Alright, so what we keep okay, so going back to your thing that when we do the automation, that's what was the question about for Fatima. Fatima, when do we do the automation? No, I know. So we do the manual testing, right? What is the manual testing?
Without
any automation tools.
So in other words, I have a test case. For example, let's say that do you remember the laundromat example?
Yeah.
That you come in on a Wednesday. So let's say, forget about that. If I have a small, if I have just a I have a bad feeling about that thing. Log in Facebook. So what do? You go to www.facebook.com.
Web application.
Isn't that what you do first? But before that, what do? Open IE. What does that mean?
Internet Explorer.
Internet Explorer. You open IE. That's your step. What's the name of your requirement? The test case is test case 001 Facebook _ login. That's your test case. Okay, how do you write test case? Test case is you write it from use case or from requirements, right? Confused? Okay. Step 1 is you this. What is step 2? Enter
Username.
your valid username in the username field. What is the next step 2? 3. Enter valid password in the password field. What is step 4? I'm sorry.
Enter login button.
Click
Login button.
login or sign in button. That's your manual testing. So what do? You open your IE, correct? You go to, so when you open your IE and you go to www.
The project is
Volunteer is all the way at the back. From now on, volunteer is going to sit in the front.
Yes.
Turned off.
No, there's a light on.
That's good.
Battery lock.
Baba, you need for help?
No, I'm fine.
Good.
So what do? You go to, you open IE, Internet Explorer. You go to www.facebook.com. You enter it. What do you expect the result? Like that, right?
Web application.
So what do is you put here your name, let's say Babu, and then you put enter your password, let's say 1 2 3 4 5. Then you click the login button and you should log in. That's your Facebook, right?
Yes.
If I want to automate that, I'm gonna have one of the tools probably from like one of the icons I'm gonna open, and that tools comes in. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna play. There will be a recording button in here, right? I'm gonna record that, and I'm gonna do the manually same thing, but it's gonna record it. So next time I press the button, it's gonna do it.
Oh.
That's your automation testing. Sometimes you have to enhance that. So you're using it in IE, but you're gonna use it in Chrome. It's probably not gonna work. So you have to play with it. That's for enhancement. There's a lot of things you have to know. You have to tweak it. So manual testing is the same thing you're doing, but the automation testing is the same thing you're doing through your automation tools. So you follow me?
Every time we run by manual testing, we have to test it automatically after that, right? Automatic testing.
If the company requires an automation tools,
Right.
they say we're gonna do automation, then you do it. However, that's when it comes in the question, when can you do automation? That was the question, correct?
Right.
Question was whether manual testing can be override by the automation, because automation automation testing is accurate, less time, less costly. So why not doing automation? Forget about manual. Why would I pay more money? But the only reason we are doing it because you have to do manually first, regardless. You have to make sure this one. Now, if I'm recording it and I see come in here, I put Babu and I put password 1 2 3 4 5 and log in, it doesn't go anywhere else.
Right.
So what's the point of having a $20,000 automation tool because I'm stuck in the first place?
Right.
Yes.
Because if the whole application works perfectly, then do the whole automation tool. If any new releases come in, something adds in, you can always add in with that script.
An existing app or upgrade you can use.
Right, you can add it because you're retesting or new release comes in. They are changing something, fix the little small bug. We can do it. So automation tools. There is a reason why automation cannot replace manual testing, because automation tools to do automation, your application has to be stable. It has to be stable. It has to be not insane. What test will do that by that?
Sanity.
Sanity testing. So, in other words, that automation tools cannot replace testing cannot replace manual testing, because the manual testing needs to be done first, making sure that application is stable enough to do the automation. Okay. Now, what is a sprint? What is a build? We talked about that, and Fatima missed it. I'm going to give you the class, and I think probably you will be able to, go through that when you hear the recording. But the sprint is actually time frame of the development process, where the whole SDLC process, not from
Planning and review.
starting from design actually, not from the requirements gathered, because you already have the user stories, right? You already have the requirements. They will pick, these are the few ones we're going to do. Okay, so when
the sprint is like for agile levels, right?
yes. Now, when BA gathered all the information, he puts them in a use case or
Test case.
BA doesn't put it in test case.
Design.
No.
Business requirement document.
Story.
Use case.
Right? Use case or?
Stories.
So these short stories, he probably have 40 or 50 stories, which are actually what? What is the other synonym for
Requirements.
Requirements, which is another synonym for need of the customer, what customer wants. So we have 40, 50 needs of the customer. Customer, I want login button, I want this and that and all these things. He goes, no, listen, we cannot do all this in this application. It's too complex. Let's put 20. Out of 40, they're gonna say we can only put 20 stores, 20 requirements, or 20 needs in there, right? You are with me so far?
Yeah.
Out of these, in this sprint and agile, they say, you know what, we're gonna deal with 3 of them in this sprint.
Chunking.
But they're gonna prioritize that one. Priority, not severity. Prioritize that one. Then they're gonna say, okay, which one are we gonna do first? So those 3 probably log in first. Facebook, for example, we're gonna do our, notification. Or maybe log in first, sign up, and sign up and sign in and homepage. Sign in and homepage. So these 3 we're gonna do. 1 developer, 2 developers are gonna do that. 2 developers are gonna do that. 1 developer is gonna do that. But they're gonna switch the word. They're gonna do it together, combine it. What is that called?
Integration.
They're gonna integrate it together. Different modules. This is one module, this is one module, this is one module. They're gonna integrate that. So what happens in the sprint, they're gonna say, in this time frame of 4 weeks, we're gonna do these 3 stories.
Right.
So that's the sprint.
So sprint is basically, in product development, a sprint is a set period of time during which specific work has to be completed and ready for review. So they're gonna say, in this sprint, sprint 1, we're gonna do 3 stories and probably 2 weeks period. Are you with me? Where is this front part of this?
It's on the back, in the pen.
It is. Good job. That's your window testing.
Volunteer.
That's your window testing. Observation. Alright, so alright, so manual testing is that. So if I wanted to do, will it possible at that time to do automation on this? No. Because he's making it ready, I gotta make sure all these things. So as soon as that comes in, they give it to us. In the release, they said, okay, you know what, go test it.
We have to do the
What do we do first?
smoke test.
Smoke test. But before that, the developers do what?
The developers do white box testing.
Which is?
With the knowledge, internal coding knowledge.
Unit test.
Oh, unit.
They're gonna say if the code works or not. So all these modules that they're working on, they're gonna do a unit test, and that is what kind of testing is that?
White box.
White box.
So what does white box testing means?
With the knowledge of
Testing the
coding and
application.
with
the
With the knowledge of coding. So the first, let's start with for our purpose, we're gonna do this. These are hard to take off.
You need windows.
Permanent
Spray.
markers.
You need a spray.
And now it's hard to take off.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
another one.
I'll show you now. আমার গায়ে তো মুছতেছি না। And I'm actually going to use the old ones. This one's that I have run before.
I need a pen.
What do you mean you need a pen? How come you always have a problem with pen? Alright. First one is called
White box.
white box testing. Give me one highlight about the white box testing. Code. So you know the code when you do the white box testing.
Knowledge of
And example. Example of the white box testing is
unit test.
unit testing. Right? Second one we're gonna do is black box testing.
Actually,
What about this?
No knowledge.
No knowledge of code. Give me an example of the
Non-functional?
black box testing. It starts with,
Smoke test.
Oh, smoke.
then,
Sanity test.
then,
shake out.
Shake out.
Backend testing.
You leave that.
functional testing.
Forget that one.
Functional testing and under it, functional,
Well, you
positive, functional,
We're not gonna forget about shaking.
negative,
All that one.
Backend testing.
backend testing,
Regression testing.
regression testing,
Integration testing.
Regression fix, regression risk.
regression
There's the path.
has two of them, fix,
And risk.
risk, correct?
Yes.
Then what we have?
Ad hoc.
Integration, then
System.
system test, end-to-end test.
Backend. Okay.
Load testing. Stress
Nah,
testing.
No, those are not functional testing. Those are non-functional testing. Now, we talked about this, but let's go back in here. Black box testing means when you know you test the application, you're gonna go and you're gonna go through it and you will know exactly what is the expected result is, right? But you don't know how that expected result came in, how that thing works. So you have no understanding of code whatsoever. Who does that? Programmer does it. They write the codes,
White box program.
correct? So I don't know the codes. So I am doing a black box testing. How many percentage of that?
80%.
80% of the
Software.
functional testing and black box testing. Because as a tester, you're gonna do most of the stuff. 20% probably GUI, performance testings and all those things, non-functional testings. What is the smoke testing? Huh?
Make
Measure
sure
performance.
if
Basic test.
There's a,
it's like showstopper,
make sure it's
This works
it's
ready for
without
further
doing it.
testing. Like URL,
What showstopper got to do with this?
it's like URL, or URL is coming, URL is working.
Yes, because if the URL doesn't work, what am I gonna test?
Right.
So, and this comes in the beginning of a new build. and whether QA is gonna accept it or not. So therefore, it's another word for the smoke testing is
High
build verification.
level functionality.
High level functionality. Okay, that's fine. High level functionalities of the application. So if I have, this is I'm doing it for you actually, Fatima. So if I have an application Facebook, the very first time Mark Zuckerberg he told his developers to make it, and his developers made it, and the Facebook office, the testers got the Facebook first build, and they said, okay, you know what? Test it. So they're gonna come in and they're gonna go to www.facebook.com. They go there and they say, the place says
Blank
page. Error 404, HTTP problems and all those things. Does it work?
No.
It doesn't work. I'm not taking this build. You fix the build first and then give it to me. I'm not accepting it. So tester QA has to accept a test, a build. In my previous job, they didn't have any process like that. We wanted to, do that, adopt that, but they were sending us when we were testing. It doesn't matter whether it works or not. So we didn't do any smoke testing. We started from sanity. Okay. So after smoke testing, what comes in?
Sanity.
Sanity testing. But let's talk about smoke testing. What that is?
It is just like
So we do a smoke testing is the sets over the major functionalities, the most important word, major functionalities of the application. Okay. Does it program run? Does it open a window? Does clicking menu do anything?
And also the major breakdowns.
Major breakdowns. Now number 2 is sanity testing. What does sanity testing means? Sanity testing means after smoke testing, when there is a fixed verification of something, somebody fix a bug, you come in and then you actually try to see the high level functionalities of the application. Little details about them smoke testing. A lot of people think smoke testing and sanity testing are same. They are not. Sanity testing, smoke testing is doing it all the time. Any build that comes in, this is only comes in after new release comes in, after new fixed verification comes in. So it's after sanity testing, smoke testing. Why is that called smoke? Because in the beginning, when they try to assemble a computers or try to open a brand new machine or system, they didn't want the smoke to come out. Like means something is wrong with the machine. So that's why it's called. And sanity testing says that because if the application is insane or not, making sure this is
Same.
It's not a crazy person. It's not a cuckoo. It's like a regular person. So sanity testing is performed after the build has cleared the smoke test and has been accepted by QA team for the testing. Sanity testing checks for the major functionality with the finer details. What am I missing after details? A period. Come on, QA. That's a period. At the end of the sentence. Now, you should see this is what kind of bug that would be.
As requirement.
What priority or severity that would be?
that's low
Level.
priority.
Low level.
Low severity. Low priority, low severity. Because it's not doing anything. You can work around it. But it's nothing, but it doesn't look it. So if I would say difference with the DE, that would be a low priority, low severity. Right? It's not a showstopper. Bless you. Now difference between smoke and sanity testing,
Hey,
we talked about it.
Yesterday you were saying something about sanity testing that actually when you, like remember you in the interview he asked you this and you said no, this is this and the interviewer like no, this is different. He accepted this.
That was great option, man. But that guy became a friend of mine, so Manish Puri. Going back to integration testing, what was the trick about integration testing we talked about yesterday? What is an integration testing? So, Fatama, you remember we said sign in, but before that you have to sign up first, right? If you want to go to Facebook, you have to put your first name, last name, your email address, your date of birth, and all those information. Unless you sign up, can you do sign in?
No.
No. After you sign in, then what do you come in? You come in your home page, right? So when you go to www.facebook.com, first you see what? A page that says you want to sign in or
Sign up.
sign up. So then you click sign up, then you go to one page, then you go to a different page, right? Then after you sign up, when you try to sign in, you go to a different page, and then you sign in, then it goes to the home page. They're different modules, they're all connected. So this is called, they're integrated together. So when you do the integration testing, you actually do it automatically when you do the regular functional testing. That was the trick, because you don't individually do integration testing. Okay?
So if they ask us, did you do integration testing?
Yes, I did. I did. While I was doing the functional testing, all my integration testing was done.
Oh, yeah. Just making sure all they're connected. And
All they're connected, all the different modules are connected. When you're going to use these kind of words, they will know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like that student, crocodile, all the times crocodile. So, you know, when you're going to say, anytime the interviewer asks you a question, you're going to bring it to customer satisfaction. But there are some keywords. So, for example, the person who's going to take your interview is probably either in the beginning somebody who's probably, let's say I work in a company as a PE, as a project manager, and as a QA lead. I have some people that I like, feel like my right hand. Whenever I tell them, listen, can you do this, and he'll do it right away. So I'm like, okay, you know what, can you do an interview for me? And that person probably is in front of me, was like, yes, sir, no problem, sir. But inside he's thinking, holy Christ, what am I going to ask? I don't even know that much. So what he does, he probably goes to somebody else, another developer or a tester goes, can you write some questions for me? So that person goes, yeah, ask him if he knows sanity testing. So yeah, what should be the answer? You said, sanity testing should be after major functionalities of testing, after smoke testing, and it should see the major functionalities in a fine details. So he put these words. Now, when you are answering the question, he's keep reading it. Because he's over the phone, you are answering, giving the interview, right? So he's keep thinking, he's asking question, what is the sanity testing? And you will be like, oh, sanity testing is something you do, you know, like later on in life. You didn't mention the, you know, like the smoke yet. You didn't mention the fine details yet. So he's like, wait a second, oh, this is the wrong answer. But doesn't matter what you said, everything wrong, but as long as you mention, you do it right after smoke testing and you do some fine details, oh, that matches. All right, this is good. So a lot of times you have to put some keywords so that he knows that what you're talking about.
But
you know what I mean?
Sequence.
It doesn't have to be sequential, but you know, it actually tricks you and makes you look good in front of the interviewer that, you know what, you know the definition, you also know the examples. So don't give the example first, but give the definition first. So if somebody asks you what is a smoke testing, you say smoke testing is when you do the major functionalities of the application. For example, let's say if I wanted to go to homedepot.com, I would first see if www.homedepot works or not. Or like for example, an iPhone, if I wanted to see first the power button works or not. You know what I mean? So that's how you say it in the interview. But speak slowly. And so you know the integration testing, you understand? Like when they're integrated together. Now, functional testing is the functionality of the application. What is the functionality of the application? I go to facebook.com, I go to sign up, I click the sign up button, but before I go there, how do I sign up? I put my first name, my last name, my email address, my home address, my social security number if necessary, and my telephone numbers and all those things. So this one has a functionality, this one has a functionality, this one has they each has functionalities. So I want to make sure all this functionality works. So that's your functional testing. Functionality means what? It's supposed to work as expected. I'm supposed to write a first name in here. I should not write my social security number in there. It should only take alphabetic numbers. Right? If you write first name, would you write down here instead of writing Zuma or Robin? Would you write 1, 2, 3, 4?
No.
Anybody's name starts with a number?
No.
No. So this field should not take anything but alphabets. Correct?
Right.
As a tester, what are you going to do? You're going to put number in there. Let's say you take this. It takes it. That's your, what kind of testing?
Functional testing.
Functional which?
Boundary.
No.
outside of the box thinking.
Right, that's true, but there is a word for it, which is called
Positive.
Who has a node? Who said positive?
Positive.
Opposite of
Negative.
functional negative testing. When you put a valid username, that's your functional positive. But when you put a different thing, that's your functional negative testing. and what is that called? Invalid data. Who provides the data?
The developers.
It depends. Where
It
you
depends.
want.
Sometimes the requirements gives you. Sometimes your manager goes, okay, use this. Or sometimes you have to provide as a senior tester and use your imagination. Like, okay, you know what?
Or if
I'm
you
gonna-
use automation, you can just write script with some random functions and that.
Random numbers, yes. Those numbers you have to provide. You have to do it. You have to generate in an Excel sheets or an, then retrieve that number from the CSV file to your automation tools and then read it there. There's a way of doing it. Now, let's say Facebook first opened the account. They will probably give the tester an username. Because like, okay, you use Babu, and then I'm going to give you administrative rule in there or administrative access. So you can use more accounts in there. So that's when you're going to play with your new data. You're going to use your new data. You're going to say, oh, I'm going to put Sanju 1 in the user, Sanju 1, Sanju 2, Sanju 3, Sanju 4, Sanju 5. We usually do is that we use all our friends' name. So whoever I remember. But at one point you'll be like, oh my God, did I use that? Didn't I use that? So I started from Sanju 1, Sanju 2, Sanju 3, Sanju 4, Sanju 5, Sanju 10. So use 10. Let's use 10 first. Like that. So you use that. You can use anything you want as long as you are imaginary and also you are like in the right way, or like you know exactly what you're doing. And write it down somewhere, like okay, what I haven't used. So what is regression testing? Regression testing means
Retesting.
retesting. There, how many parts of it? Why you do retesting? When you do retesting?
If you find
When
a
the bug
bug,
is fixed.
so you send
When
it
the
to
bug is fixed.
Yeah.
Correct. So when you find an error, you send it to
Developers.
developers or your QA managers, and then QA managers send it to the development manager. Development manager send it to the developer. You know how that works?
It's the life cycle.
And then what happens? Then
They
they
send
fix
it
it,
to you
and what they do?
They
They
send
tell
it
you to fix it? No,
No.
they send you a
back.
not necessarily every fix they do it, they send a mail. They probably say that I fixed it. You're gonna probably get an automatic mail notification that you have entered one of the case that is being fixed. Check it. It's your responsibility to check it. So let's say when you log the bug, it automatically actually has a bug ID. It automatically generated. Okay? So when you log it in a tool, you're gonna use a tool, right? You're gonna use a bug tracking tools. QC, fog bugs, Bugzilla, Zira, all those things. So that bug tracking tools, you're gonna put a subject, login does not work. So when you find a bug, what do you do first? Go ahead.
You
like
reproduce.
you will try if it's really a bug like couple of times.
Very important word. You have to make sure if it is a bug or not. So why you have to make sure that?
Because sometimes like sometimes the I doesn't follow. It doesn't work. People later.
Sometimes it can be a network problem.
Other issues.
It can be a database issue. Sometimes it's an environmental issue. So you have to make sure if it has anything to do with your computer or it has anything to do with your network. So 2 or 3 times you do it, and if you have to, there's a workaround. You have to.
So you basically have to confirm it's a programming error. So.
Reproduce.
You have to reproduce the bug a few times. So when they ask you, what do you do when you find a bug? And I guarantee you out of 10, 8 times you're going to be asked that question in the
You have to
interview.
log
So you're going to say, first you're going to start like this, like, oh, thank you very much, that's a great question, I love that. And you're going to say, as a tester, I always find bugs. And funny thing is, some of the bugs are not actually bugs, probably a networking issue, probably a database issue, probably an environmental issue. So I personally always never say you. You say I in the interview. And you say, I always make sure it's a bug first. I try 2-3 times, at least numerous times. Don't say 2-3 times, say numerous times I try it and I make sure it's a valid bug. Is that? valid bug. And then, first thing I do is I take a screenshot. How do you take a screenshot?
Control
Print
screen.
screen.
Control screen.
And there's a
Screenshot.
print screen.
Yeah,
So you do control print screen.
right.
And then what do? You go to open your Paint or
You can
whatever like picture editing tools that you use. So you go there and you say Control V. That means you paste. What does Control V mean? Paste it, right? So you paste it and then you save it in your computer. But before you do that, so for example, let's say I have a problem here of, I put here as a regression. So I say, okay, you know what, there is a cosmetic problem in here, right? So what I'm going to do, print screen, and I'm going to go to Paint, and I'm going to say Control V. So that came in, right? So what I'm going to do, I don't want all these things, I want only these parts. So I said crop, and crop, and I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do crop it right here. And I said, so only this part came in, right? So what I'm going to do, I usually do is, I select this, and I say size is this, and I put a red here, and I say, right. Then I put text, and I say here, then I put like this, or actually I go like this, and I go make this one bigger, or however you feel like it. Then what you can do is
We can do arrow.
Spelling mistake, and then home, and I click here. Click this. That, and then I go file, save as, or if you find more problems, you do it. But each problem you log one bug at a time. But if it's the same thing, like regression and then test, you put it together and you say both of them are wrong. But usually, so I go here, I go to let's say desktop, and I go to QA testing class, and I go to my STLC, and then I put here, let's say STLC class note spelling regression. Something like that, whatever meaningful is, and I save it. Then what I do?
I'm gonna send the email to.
Then I open my
Email.
no.
Back.
How do you log bug tracking tools? You open your bug tracking tools,
Which is QC.
which is QC, Zira, or etc. And there you put a subject. You put the subject in there. You open. You say new. But
না জিরা তো মিতা সবটা বলে কি জিরা
Jira. Alright, so you open a new. This is recording, so maybe one day she's gonna hear it. I definitely would put it. Give it to her. Listen, what your friend is talking about you. Okay. So you open a new case and you put a subject in there. You're gonna say that login doesn't work. Let's say the login functionality doesn't work. Then you're gonna put you're gonna have a severity. You're gonna have priority. Who is this assigning to?